All right, this is about my granddad, Jumbo, and it's also about the Pakistani grooming gangs and music world and society at large. Right, so my granddad Jumbo was the head of the British Army and a very big man and a king as well. And he married a cool girl. Well, he married a woman, a model and a dancer called Betty before, and then afterwards he had a girlfriend who you could call who was engaged to Jumbo and was a cool girl from Hampstead in London. And then now his son, Jumbo's son John, gets called Condom Johnny or Johnny Rubber, Rubber Johnny, right? Because John also created Beatles. Okay, so he is in the music world. He created Kurt Cobain, Michael Jackson, Motown, the rock world, Guns N' Roses, also folk and country music, all the music genres, and jazz. Right, so Jumbo married a cool girl from Hampstead, and she was a nice cool girl. She wasn't treated like a whore. She didn't act like a whore. Well, she might have done, but she didn't get treated like a whore. She was a high class cool girl, well respected, and also had a girlfriend, had a boyfriend. So she was having a normal life as well, and she was a high class cool girl. And Jumbo wanted that for England. He didn't want anything else. So currently, what you've got are Pakistanis going around calling the British girls whores and then brutally treating them. And that's totally incorrect. And my views on that is I want them removed, the Pakistanis, for doing that. The Pakistani grooming gangs are too big, and it's a disgusting attack to a hosting country that gives them benefits. And they live here to then attack us is an illegal notion, and they must be evicted. Right, so this is why there are Pakistani grooming gangs. They're going around treating the young girls like they were cheap whores and then brutally abusing them. When Jumbo didn't want that, Jumbo wanted women to be treated as doing anything they want to. He was essentially the guy that created the Roaring Twenties in the 1920s, where women had freedom on the stages. He brought women onto the stages. Before that, there were no women on the stages. So when Jumbo brought women onto Hollywood stages, then society grew 50%, let alone the film industry. All right, so Jumbo is bringing more of that into the country, and the Pakistanis are abusing that and delineating our country back to crocodilium. All right, so cannibalism. That's what the Pakistanis are representing the Africans. They want to turn the whole country African. They have a completely different agenda, which is for homosexuals. Okay, so Jumbo country is a wonderful country with cool girls allowed to be, and they are high class cool girls. They have partners. They have a normal life. They are considered equal to anybody else in society, and that's how it should be. And it's being abused over and out. So Jumbo had a son called John, and that's what Rubber Johnny is. John also created the Beatles, so all the Beatles fans, you're free to enjoy the luxurious life that also Jumbo had with his then engaged wife, cool girl from Hampstead, and that's wonderful additional to the establishment and for to lineage the women into a better world, better life, like he did when he put women on the stages in the 1920s. So Bette Davis, the actress, is playing Jumbo's wife. All along, she's playing Jumbo's wife, and to get an idea of who Jumbo was. So Jumbo really lovingly encouraged women's lives in Britain and America by marrying a cool girl, and he is now getting abused, mocked by the Pakistanis that don't believe in sex at all. Okay, and they denied sex. If any sex they have, the Pakistanis, it's homosexual sex brought in by the homosexuals. The Pakistanis are right, homosexual paedophiles too. Now, with Jumbo, those that support Jumbo must ban anyone that doesn't support Jumbo. You must find those that are like this Pakistan and ban them. They're not allowed to mock any women in the country anymore like they used to. That's banned. and Jumbo's brought that in, and well done, Jumbo. So, to all those people who are antigens to Jumbo's England and America and Russia and Europe because he's a king, um, those antigens that are against him, well, they are also a homosexual paedophiles club. They're known as the 550-year-old club, with 50-year-old with 5-year-old boys. And that's their homosexual boyfriend. And they're objecting because there are no girls allowed group, and that includes Jumbo. So when Jumbo gets delineated in this country, it's because the gay paedophiles have objected. So the objectors include Pakistanis, the grooming gangs there, also the councils that are, and then people like the banks that are increasing the interest rate because they are also Pakistanis. That group, they're anti-British, anti-Jumbo. So the Pakistanis are brought in by the homosexual society, and the homosexuals are trying to homosexualise Britain. That's why they're brought in the Pakistanis to assist witches. Right, so now the witches and the homosexuals are also bringing in the little boats and staying in their accommodation, the hotels. The hotels were stolen by Pakistanis and the witches off Jumbo and the British people because Jumbo had a cool girl as a wife. Right, so now, so all the little boats are coming in to mock the British girls and attack them in such a way that they cannot be allowed in, and they must be returned in their thousands. They're coming in to attack Jumbo's England. That is not to be abused. They don't understand accepting sex work. They can't. They don't have this in their cultures. They delineate it and ruin it at all points in their own culture. They mustn't come to us. We're much more developed. Which this is part of Hollywood even. All right, so the immigrants are coming in actually to homosexualize the country. They're brought in by the homosexual communities and the upper classes, the fox hunting community, the homosexuals from Oxford University. They brought in all the immigrants to homosexualize England and then turn it into homosexual paedophile country. No girls allowed, and that's why they're raping our young girls right now. It has nothing to do with sex. They're homosexuals, homosexualising Britain. We need to get rid of that immediately, or it's half the world away. Jumbo. Well, he was the head of Hollywood. He owned the Hollywood studios, and he married a cool girl. And he also created and helped create the film Wizard of Oz and King Kong. All right, and his son is called John, Saint John, King John, and then Rubber Johnny from the Beatles because we created the Beatles, and we're also Judy Garland and the Wizard of Oz, and this is her story, and this is how it goes on. People must join in. If they're not joining in, throw them off and throw them out. Throw them off, throw them out, and that's our agenda, because we know that Jumbo improved the economy of Hollywood over 50% with his leadership and his decisions, especially on women. And now he's doing it to society, and people are trying to stop that. Well, they're as dumb as the day is long. If they're a poor man, they're as dumb as the day is long. All right, and we know who they are, and they're mocking and attacking us too. So we must remove them, and we must stick with Jumbo, who has it right. For the economy, he is correct. That the economy will get so much better when Jumbo's system comes into play. But it's been mocked and attacked by those who are desperate to stay poor like they are in their own countries. And now they're coming here in their droves to enhance all of that. I don't think so. We need to reverse it immediately and give them a decision that they didn't expect, but they must expect from now on. Because we don't want that in our country. This country has its filmic roots. Films have a lot to play in how our society plays out, and this is an introduction from Hollywood. They don't have Hollywood in their own country. They don't have women rights groups at all. All right, so this is going to be a concoction that isn't going to work, and it's going to work really badly on the young girls in this country. So, on their behalf, the politicians have to act act accordingly and deny all access to them from these people who don't understand our society. They don't understand it even in the 1920s, let alone now. So with this talk about Hollywood, well, yeah, Jumbo brought women onto the stages, but nowadays Hollywood's turned into violence and a hellhole that's including Pakistanis creating mass violence, and then we have violence around the world. And Jumbo's message has been lost in Hollywood. There are no women. Women are getting attacked, brutalized, and victimized. All right, so this is not Jumbo's world. However, it all started when Jumbo brought women onto the stages, and this increased Hollywood's wages and their economy. All right, and it's still today. You have women on stages. Without them, Hollywood would be half of what it is right now, less than half. So Jumbo married a cool girl, and she's called Ruth Ellis, the last woman to be hung in England. Well, Jumbo also created the advertising industry, started in the theatre world that he worked in, and then Hollywood advertising, and then in football advertising. He became and owned the football advertising industry, our family, but then it was all stolen. But in the meantime, and are stolen by rogue people who annoy people with advertising. Whereas Jumbo was the original creator of advertising, and because of Jumbo, now football players getting 3 or 5 times the amount of wages they're getting, and the games are much better. So the football world is under attack by the Pakistanis when they're mocking the football world and Jumbo. Okay, Manchester United is getting mocked by the Pakistanis when the grooming gangs are going on, because the Pakistanis refuse to say sorry, say apologise. They refuse to change their behaviour. They're attacking all the football clubs and Jumbo. So the Pakistani grooming gangs are specifically attacking Jumbo and his cool girl wife. So now anything to do with Jumbo is under attack, and that includes Manchester United, Everton, Newcastle, all the main football clubs. All right, so they're attacking all the main football clubs out there, the Pakistani grooming gangs, and they're refusing to apologise or to move after they've been told to get out of the country. So now the football fans need to get out there and counter-attack, counter-attack, counter-attack. They're going for your kids, calling them whores, treating them really badly, which has nothing to do with what the original intention is. Okay, and it's done by a homosexual paedophiles group that brought in Pakistanis to kill the middle and working classes in Britain. And that the Pakistanis are specifically attacking Jumbo, who's the head of the football advertising industry, and then commands all the football wages. All right, so he's imperative in this area. And then to the football fans, Jumbo is part of the football world, the head of the football world, Football Association. And he's under attack by the Pakistani grooming gangs that specifically hate him. And they're planning and trying to change our country. They haven't even got their own Hollywood, these Pakistanis, and it's very draconian if there is any. The women's rights, there are no women's rights. They get brutalised. So also with the Pakistanis attacking sex grooming gangs that are calling the British girls whores and then brutally raping them. Now, also doing this is some of the black community, the rap world. They're doing that too. They're also sex grooming gangs, right? And that's what bitches and hoes is all about. Bitches and hoes is about Jumbo's girls, and then getting brutally treated by those that hate sex, that are really homosexuals at the end of the day. On paper, they're homosexuals. These rap groups that are called bitches and hoes. Right, they've got British and American girls held up and holed up and treated really badly when there's no need for that. There's no purpose for that. That wasn't in the intention. They're taking the piss out of Jumbo. They're delineating Jumbo's world. Right, and those people need to be evicted. They need to be found, taken out, and evicted. They don't belong in this country. They belong somewhere very primitive where they don't have women's rights. They don't even have women's rights in these rap groups. So when they come near women, they call them hoes, bitches and hoes, and then tie them up and all that kind of stuff. incarcerate their life to the point of murder, where they get them into drugs and then they get killed. So it's a drastic and draconian system that's going on, and the Pakistanis are doing exactly the same. And we need to evict it immediately because it's hurting us really bad. This is not what Jumbo or Hollywood's intentions, or the Wizard of Oz, who created by Hollywood, created by Jumbo, who's also Rubber Johnny, all right, from the Beatles. And this is our story. And Rubber Johnny disconnects us from any world that doesn't follow the Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, and then the Beatles and Rubber Johnny. And then also in these days, we have Becky Hill, whose song Disconnect is about this too, about how we need to disconnect from our enemy that has very bad intentions for us. They've got it all wrong. They're too primitive to understand even the basic stuff there. How could they possibly understand mature wisdom and exceptional societies that we are promising? Jumbo wanted to improve the economy, let alone women's lives, and he does that, and he will do that. He can still do that. It's just under attack. We need to be aware of this. We need to look at the good side, and the good side is women are free to elicit any kind of deals they want within their bounds, within their means. And we have stuff like Pornhub and Ex Hamster that express this story too of Jumbo and his involvement in the sex industry. However, it's not as hardcore as you see in the sex industry there, but it's there. It's the right at the top. Jumbo is the king, and Ruth Ellis is the queen, and she was the last woman to be hung in Britain. A very interesting story. So Ruth Ellis was murdered by the Law Society, and now also killing Ruth Ellis are the Pakistani grooming gangs. So the grooming gangs are connected to the Law Society, and even today, the law are making laws to assess the attack of Jumbo, and then that this Law Society are all the Pakistani grooming gangs. And the Pakistani electronic shops everywhere. They are also the Law Society, making all types of laws that assist them in attacking Jumbo, like the 18 sex laws. Even though the Pakistanis are a well-known homosexual paedophiles group, and that this Law Society that includes the Pakistanis are giving very low sentences to those that are attacking Jumbo's women out there. So the Pakistani grooming gangs are getting very low sentences. They're not getting that much because the Law Society promotes them. All right, so all these Pakistani electronic shops out there are the Law Society, and they're giving themselves very low sentences, where they're giving the white guys much higher sentences, and there's hardly any of them. All right, so that all the laws, the immigration laws, are created by these Pakistanis too, and they're all the Pakistani electronic shops up and down the country. They're as dumb as the day is long. So all said about bitches and hoes and the blacks. Well, they're not all doing that, thankfully. And people like Kanye West, 50 Cent, Eminem, Drake, and Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're very, very against this bitches and hoes of treatment, and they're very much for Jumbo. So Kanye West is now my business partner. He chose me to be his business partner about a year ago, and we're in business together. And basically, we're very against how Jumbo's been treated, and we're very for Jumbo, and we delight in his ideas for the world. Currently, Zelensky's group is this homosexual group that's attacking Jumbo, calling them all hoes when they're not really hoes. They're just high class cool girls. They're living a normal life. They've got partners and they're just making some money on the side, and that should be all right in a dying economy, and that should be fine in any economy that's been struggling. That's a good way out for the women. Now, Zelensky is this homosexual paedophiles group that are no girls allowed in Britain. and now they're attacking Russia, and that's what the war over there is all about too. So after all that said, about prostitution in Britain and America and Russia and the world, well, because of Jumbo, he made it legal. So prostitution is legal, except for the 550 boys club that have made it illegal, because the 550-year-old lawyers club are all judges, and they hold the 18 sex laws, which is not that legal, because they are the 550 club. All right, so Jumbo's world is legal, and prostitution should be much more prevalent, and it should be everywhere, because people are poor and they need to make money, and this is a legal way, and this is legal because he's the King of England. Over and out. So more about the 550-year-old club. That's a 50-year-old with a 5-year-old boyfriend that had the Law Society. Well, they also created bitches and hoes in the rap world. So when they're coming at you with the blonde girls, calling them hoes, well, actually, it's a gay paedophiles group that are doing that. They're also vigilantes, and they're having sex with 5-year-old boys, anal rimming, anal sex, kissing them, snogging them, holding them down, trying to rape them, that kind of sex. So it's not just bitches and hoes and the Pakistani grooming gangs that are doing these attacks. It's also the prison communities. They're also attacking our young girls out there, and they're attacking Jumbo, head of the British Army, King of England. Right now, the prison community, Category A prisoners, they're doing a biting system, and this is rooted in their cannibalistic attack to young British and American girls, and then they're getting killed. In a biting system, which is a cannibal sect of African people, Pakistanis, and the immigrants, and they're also coming in to do this biting system that kills British young girls. All right, so that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard, and cannibalism like that has to be denied access to coming into England or access to any benefits that are coming from the very kind people. The Christian people said free food, free accommodation, and free medicals, and this became the benefit system. It's not to be given to people doing the biting system in the prison community in Pakistani groups, and they've got to go. They've got to leave. Part of this biting system is the Ian Huntley gangs, and they killed Holly Wells, Jessica Chapman, and they also killed loads of girls. All the young girls getting killed in England and seen in the Daily Mirror and the newspapers, they're mostly killed by this biting system that's killing Jumbo's country. All right, and this is prosperity we're talking about is getting destroyed, not morals. Their morale is to kill children, is their homosexual sexuality. It includes killing little girls, part of homosexual megalomania seen in in Huntley gangs. So this biting system is disgusting, and it's actually run by the councils as well. They are also a biting system, and Child Protection Services is the 550 Club. Homosexual paedophiles, no girls allowed, and they're taking hundreds of girls off their parents every week in England because they're Jumbo's kids. All right, and homosexuals are offending to this. The councils are offending and then taking the girls away from their mothers, so the mother never sees their kids again. So all the kids are under this kind of scrutiny. So we've lost all the kids essentially. Jumbo's kids have all been stolen by the councils that are this biting system that are also Pakistani sex grooming gangs. Sex grooming gangs are the child protection services stealing hundreds of kids a week. All right, so what we now need is the mental health nurses and the ambulance staff to know that Johnny Rubber, is the Beatles. Okay, we're also Kurt Cobain, Taylor Swift, Britney Spears, uh, Mariah Carey, Mariah Carey, Oasis, Eric Clapton, The Who, The Queen, George Michael, Michael Jackson, Motown, and then a host of the rap world, Kanye West, Eminem, and so on, and Beyonce, and Jay Z, and Rihanna. Right, so that's our group. We are pro Jumbo. We support Jumbo and what he wants to do, and we want to make his world come true. And we have to delineate any antigens that are in our country and around us. Uh, so we know the councils are running child protection services. They are the 550 Club, that are the biting system that kills Jumbo's girls. Right now, after calling them whores. Right now, the councils are doing this en masse. They are running the schools right now, right, and they're biting the kids there with torture and excessive amount of work, and then also they're sending Category A prisoners to kill them. This is all organised by the schools. Look at the Sandy Hook school shooting in America. That was all organised by the school, and then they got Category A prisoners to do the shooting, the gay communities. Right, so now we need mental health workers to know that John, my dad is Saint John, and he's Saint John of the ambulance services, and his dad is Jumbo. Right now, Saint John and Saint John's ambulance services under attack when the girls get killed like that. Right now, an attack by Category A prisoners in a biting system. Also, the schools are doing this biting system, affects all school kids. So we now need mental health workers and ambulance staff, and also caring mothers and caring women out there to get involved, take back these kids, take them away from there, and we're putting them in a cinnamon project which looks after them, promises not to destroy them in a biting system. All right, we're completely normal. We don't have any of these cannibal, inhumane qualities at all. We only care for people. We won't do anything else. We're going to be on a 5-point caring program, so everyone can create their own cinnamon project, and our ambulance services and mental health workers can work with all cinnamon projects, and put in kids there that need to be looked after, because currently the biting system is taking them away, and ruining their lives. More about me. Well, I'm Jumbo's grandson, and also I'm a trained psychologist, child psychologist, and dietitian, and I studied biology for over 15 years, and I'm a herbologist. And I write essays on applied psychology. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell is my cousin, if you know what I mean. She's my other half in the newspaper industry. I was adopted by Tiny Rowland, who heads the Fleet Street newspapers, and all the tabloids and the New York Times, and that includes Robert Maxwell, that adopted their family, and their group adopted me, and I'm Max, and Ghislaine Maxwell is my other half, and she's not done too much wrong. The paedophiles, the prosecutors, the lawyers that put her in prison are a gay paedophiles group, and Ghislaine Maxwell's been trying to tell us all this for ages. So has Michael Jackson, and so am I. So I'm a trained psychologist. I'm also a journalist, and I call myself a radio journalist. I do policing in the medic world, and also I write essays on psychology, and also sexology. So I talk about how sex is good for you, and that it's an antidepressant, for instance. And it's a relaxant like you've never seen. We don't have relaxants like that in the chemist, for instance. So has a positive effect on the stressful average day person, right? So, and then there's some other aspects to sex we've been talking about in my essays, about how sex creates protein chains inside the body, and these protein chains are created by agitated amino acids. That get agitated by the touch and sensation system in your body called the sensory system. And when that's stimulated, it creates these protein chains that then creates the advanced brain. The advanced brain above the animal world is because we've got an advanced protein system that's making lots of protein chains, and then the advanced brain that comes with it. Right, so and it also needs to be maintained. and that sex stimulating the sensory system basically creates these protein chains and the advanced man. For instance, the chimpanzee or the rhino or the zebra do not have sex too much. They don't. They're intimate only just. Right? A cat, for instance, is far more affectionate and is domesticated, right? Because he's affectionate, and it's that affection that creates a little brain, something that's trustworthy, that you can rely on them to learn basic attributes that you can live with them now. So if they don't have these attributes, you can't live with them, and they're in the animal kingdom like all the others, and untrustworthy, unreliable, as something that the humans must not start adapting to, which we are doing. We have some of us have a crocodile syndrome that leads us down the well, like the society is going down the well, and we've got a crocodile syndrome, and we're being stupid. Right, we need to wisen up and pick our country up, and we'll make a lot from this. Certainly, 50% and more for the economy and people's welfare is what is due, and is what is a proven fact too. So, sex creates protein chains that creates your individual uh, characteristic facial types, for instance. This created by protein chains, and the different protein chains, and the different times, and the different uh, 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 nuances involved in this system creates the different types of people, right? And that the people, you have differences because your stimulation system has been stimulated differently too, right? And the timing is also very important of the stimulation. All right, so now with the young people, they need to be stimulated because of the brain needs to be advanced. It needs maintenance, and it also needs to be improved. And the brain is nothing but an eyesight system, so it will protect that person. So to deny that person any stimulation is also to deny them an eyesight that protects them from predators like these immigrants that are coming in right now, right? Because they can't see them properly. They don't see the danger that they're in when they're near them. They don't see quite a lot of stuff, right? So now their eyesight is gone. Their third eye is disappeared. They don't have any queries about anything when they need to be. Otherwise, the whole human race has gone by the way. All right, because everyone's got this attitude that it's a bad thing to stimulate people. All right, so stimulation causes the brain to enact a safety security system in the body, right? And it's a crucial factor that rides us well above the animal kingdom. You see, your brain that needs to get developed, and it only gets developed through central stimulation, is how our advanced brain came about, right? So now it will only get stimulated by and affection. So all types of oral stimulation, visual, and 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 sensual stimulation is the biggest part of the stimulation process. And then you have like center points in the sensory system, like your sexual organs, which will stimulate the protein chain system in the emergency systems. So it's all your emergency systems in your body. For instance, the fact that you can stand up is created by these protein chains that created that. So that we have something above the animals, that we can walk on 2 feet. The animals can't do this because they're unaffectionate. They're not. Their brain is not ready for it. Their whole evolutionary system is ill prepared for the. They haven't had the changes occur in there due to the lack of stimulation, and that's duly because of their thick skin. So when human people do that, you can just duly call them a crocodile syndrome, and very dangerous around humans. Any crocodile is a wild animal, and we certainly have these wild animals in our society that target little girls just like a crocodile would, just like a chimp, a gorilla, or a rhino. So the key track to get away from the animal and the cannibal system, much like how the white man evolved by escaping Africa that was trying to cannibalize a certain group of primates there, and they managed to get out because they're cannibals, and escaped, and then it kept on escaping until they got into the Caucasian mountains in Russia and became the white people. All right, so now this escape is very important, and it's part of evolution, and we have it today. We have a society that we all want to escape. All right, so now part of that escape has to be to build up your security, and your security and escape is all about wanting to expand your mind and your brain. And it can only expand because the brain is nothing but a security unit, an eyesight unit, facilitate your hands and your feet and your direction and balance. Right, so once that gets enhanced, then your security is a lot better, in a world that we only see predators around, especially coming in on boats right now. On the telly, we see this. All right, so we're surrounded by predators. So all the people do need a security element, and the one that you can't get from the pharmacy, yet it's delivered immediately in the body when you stimulate the central stimulation system. All right, so it has these beneficial effects rather than negative effects. It also is a nervine, which means it will cure ADHD. Right, so if you've got ADHD, frustrated kids and frustrated people, adults and parents, well, sex and stimulation, affection, all types of stimulation are going to ease and cure ADHD more than any pharmaceutical can, and that's a medical fact. All right. So now also people get depression, and they can't sleep at night, and stuff like that. Well, sex can help there, but the reason the sex apparatus is there in the human race is because we need to evolve our brain to make our group safer. All right, so that's the real reason sex is there in our society, in our lives, and it's quite central because we're surrounded by predators, and also we also need to develop our brains, and our brains still don't know enough, and can penetrate the world that we live in, and we need to do a lot more work in that area. All right, and if we don't, we run out of energy. Systems, and we need to find energy systems, and for that we need big brains. We need people who are going to penetrate the old sciences, and break into new, and create new energy for us for the future. So it's essential that we get a bigger brain and a better brain, one that's more maintained, right? And that means, well, dealing with how do you stimulate the brain. Well, you stimulate the brain in lots of ways with TikTok, for instance, internet stimulation. You have TV, you have family stimulation, social stimulation, and then you have touch. Right, touch breaks into another level of eyesight and brain stimulation, and then protein chains are stronger, and then your brain is qualified as a safety unit. People with a bigger brain are generally safer to be around. All right, so and they're also cleverer. They go to the universities, they run the universities, they created them. They created religions, all right? They created all the engineering and science and the art world, right? So the brain it is responsible for all of this, and it needs to go further, because we've got energy crises that we still can't penetrate to this day, and we're running out of the oil we've got, we're running out of the plutonium we've got. You see, we need to find ways to get more plutonium, and there is lots more out there. It's all caught up in the rocks. It's very hard to get to. All right, so this is the phenomenon that confronts us. When you make somebody blind to a certain object or a person, and then all people, they can't see anybody. When they can't see one person, they also can't see anybody. All right, and then that person then starts attacking that person as if that person was a threat in some way, even though they're not. All right, so this person can't see that other guy because he's blind. All right, he's got a blindness. Now, in that blindness, he then goes to attack that other person as if they were going to be killed by them, but they're not trying to do that. He's paranoid. He's got a small brain, a crocodile syndrome. All right. So now, what stimulating the sensory system does is it opens your eyes to other people, and you can start to see them on another level, on a very important level that we're missing right now in everyday politics. All right. So we need to see people on another level and teach people that, and then they won't start attacking everyone that they see, like what you see right now in a world that is very censored. Okay, so censorship creates war. Okay, and this stimulating system also saves the government millions and billions every year because it also causes frustrated kids, frustrated people, prison communities are very large, and they're all very, very frustrated, especially sexually. And then morally, they're very confused. One minute they're a paedophiles group for gay paedophiles, next minute they're not. So yeah, they're very confused, can't be included in any argument. So the purpose for the sensory system that we've got is to really outfox the enemy. All right, it creates a brain that does all of that. You by creating protein chains, which is after a dance on your sensory system. All right, so it can be affection and all types of affection and uh, closeness and touch. Okay, so and this is done subconsciously by the human people. So it creates a safer situation for everyone. That now everyone that their brain is fully facilitated and developed and even improving. All right, because we're surrounded by predators, and the first thing we need to do is outfox them and make sure we survive. And we can only do that with tools using our advanced brain. So if a person sees a predator out there, and we certainly see thousands every day on the telly, in the news, well, that person's under attack and they have a right to protect themselves. And one of the ways they do it is to stimulate the sensory system in everyone to make the world much safer. Well, this is the story of the subconscious. The subconscious is directing us towards the stimulating of the sensory system to then boost the brain to then make the world and your environment much much safer and your safety and livelihood kept. All right, so you need to do that. You have to. It's a long process, and if you're not succeeding, then you've got a lot of work to do. Over and out. So what Jumbo brings in really slots in really well with evolution and what is right for the West and for what is right for England and the advanced world. It's certainly part of the advanced world, everything that we've discussed today. All right. It's not part of the sex world necessarily. Yes, it is, but it also isn't. All right. It's about security. It's about ways to get out. The only way to get out. The other way is through the pharmacy and politics. It's not quite working, is it? Over and out. So, with politics and everyone out there, to extend on what our evolution really is then to be kind to people, but also very protective. To be way more protective than we currently are. We have a more protective element to us that we don't enact inside us. That matches our kindness and our advanced brain. Because the advanced brain comes with a very protective element too. And we need to start using that, our groups, in all the walls that we're in and keep ourselves safe. And to cut a long story short, but the Ann Summers sex shop have got a sensory system lubricant. It's called sensory something, sense something, and it's a sex product. And they're also working with me. Ann Summers is named after my auntie Ann Spiller. She was the part of the Royal Air Force, and I had a girlfriend when I was 7 with a 6-year-old girlfriend, and at school, and then also later on when I was 13, I went out with my cousin, she was 13 too. And then also later on, when I was 15, I had a few couple of girlfriends there, and we got married when I was about 15 to Queen Rachel and also to Queen Pilgrim. And then we're also Ann Summers Sex Shop that sells the sensory lubricant needed for this essay. Thank you very much. And I got married to Queen Pilgrim when she was 15 and I was 15. I knew her, we started dating when she was about 11. She's the most beautiful girl in the world. Prince wrote a song about her called The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And also, the brilliant Taylor Swift is playing Queen Pilgrim's part, who is my wife. And we got married when we were about 15. And this is all part of this essay. Thank you very much for listening. So we're Ann Summers Sex Shop, and the sensory cream and lubricant is sold there, and that's Ann Summers Sex Shop all over the UK. And then we're also Taylor Swift and her Red Tour and all her tours, and anyone wearing a friendship ring is also part of the affectionate group, and we're a part of enhancing our societies and including everyone who needs this extra assistance. Because we know the schools don't care about our kids, nor do the councils. They don't care about kids. They've completely ignored them. So we're a system against that. And we're about starting with affection. And you'll see that that really enhances the brain capabilities, and that enhances everyone involved. Now, if you want them to be safer, you need to make sure they've got a good and working and calculating brain. Otherwise, they need help and they need your help. And your job now is a carer. And you need to look after the world that we're living in and everyone you've got under your control. And you're now head of the Cinnamon Project. We're the Cinnamon Project, and we're wearing the friendship bracelets of Taylor Swift. Now, we're also enhancing our societies, and we're also the police and the psychologists around the world. And we adhere to a theory that tells us what's really going on out there, and it's called the penis envy theory. All right, so the people out there who've got a problem have got penis envy syndrome. All right, so that's something else to look at as well. That also has got to be thrown into the mix here. All right. So the other creature with penis envy syndrome is the crocodile, and he's exceptionally hostile. No one can live with him. His economy is running below 0.1 when it could be 500% more. But his attitude 24/7, and he's gone down. Everyone goes down with him. All right, so it's a crocodile syndrome that is deeply against sensual stimulation, uh, that prevents the crocodile from developing his community. He can't. He's constantly a cannibal. All right, he's stuck in his evolutionary rut, and the beauty of the human race is we're not, and we must not adhere to the crocodile syndrome.